does the Kim Kardashian Fortnite brand partnership make sense?
Does it make you feel something? Yeah, so the Kim Kardashian Fortnite integration, I think, when I wanted to talk about this, I feel like, this isn't my domain. I'm not a gamer by any means. But I just think that it's incredibly interesting for 100 different reasons. So Kim Kardashian has done a partnership with Fortnite to where she has been integrated into the game in a bunch of different ways. One, you can do a skin, which is, changing your character to look like her. And there are outfits as well that you can add that are, Skims outfits that actually exist in real life, that you can buy in real life, and you're able to, buy them in game and wear them in game on your avatar. There's also like a game integration to uh, there's also a game integration that has been activated to where you can participate and play games that are inspired by iconic moments and memes from her life and career. Specifically, there's the dripping, I think it was her Met Gala
Yep.
outfit. It was
Mhm.
her dripping outfit that there's a, very iconic photo of her with a
Mhm.
champagne bottle that goes over her.
Yeah.
And as well, the iconic meme of her diamond earring falling into the ocean.
Yeah.
You now can play as Kim on her boat and drop your diamond ring in the ocean. Um, and I just think for, 100 different reasons, it's very interesting. I think that, Fortnite, for one, has continued to become a cultural meeting point across so many different industries. There's music, as we've had, like, Ariana Grande, ASAP Rocky do in game concerts, live stream concerts. There's fashion integrations, their brands have activated in it. I know that Wendy's has done a skin and game in game that, went viral at the time. I think that was back in 2021. Film and now reality TV is now finding its way in game. And I think that it's a really smart move to reach a younger audience and to come at them through gaming, as gaming is huge and is going to continue to be huge. And Fortnite is really like becoming like a platform that is like almost like, a digital Times Square, if you will, of like where all of these things kind of collide and people can interact. And then just like from Kim Kardashian's perspective of doing it, I think that it's always really interesting to people when a celebrity, especially like the bigger, is so self-aware of, the things that are being talked about her, like this diamond earring, meme is so iconic to her, and she's leveraging it and bringing it back in a way that, serves her and serves her brand, and it tells people like, yeah, she's self-aware, she knows that it was ridiculous, and, she's laughing with you instead of having like some kind of reaction that is like denying it. I think that memes like this too are like kind of the tightest circle of nostalgia we have. And so to bring them back in a way that's like really modern and, fresh in the game like Fortnite, it's just really smart, I think, from, like her personal brand perspective.
Yeah. As you were, saying this, I was, part of me was like, oh, the moments she chose are brilliant, right? Because
Mhm.
um even though part of it is kind of like let's laugh with me, um it also shows that like it's still moments she's like, proud of, or like that say something about her, right? Because she chose the Met Gala, situation where she looked great, and like, people, it was kind of the discourse, now that I'm thinking back, that like was it good or was it not? Because I think the theme of that year was like camp, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but she didn't choose the moment where, she was pregnant and she showed up in like the flower outfit and people were saying, "Oh, your outfit looks like it's grandma's couch or something," right?
Mhm.
The iconic champagne photo, right? Like, that still was, like, on the line of, like, was it a good thing, or was she, was it a bad thing culture-wise, right? And then
Mhm.
the diamond earring, it's like, okay, she has the diamond, but then also it's this, like, funny moment that, like, happened to her, you know? And it's kind of, like, bordering on, like, was it a good thing that happened or a bad thing? So it means that she's self-aware enough to know that, like, her fans will enjoy it, but then she might get, like, haters to, like, also participate because isn't like the best moments of her, right?
Mhm.
So that's like, a win for her because it's like, okay, she's still growing her brand. She's still, growing, her bank, right? Because the more that people like, use these, like the more that benefit her and like her brand, the awareness that grows like around her. Um, but then it's also a thing for, like, Fortnite, right? It's like a win for them of, like, bringing in, someone that I never thought would be in a video game, right?
Mhm.
But, that's kind of like the world that they're building is to be a cultural meeting point, right? Where there's
Mhm.
music and there's fashion and film, reality TV, and it's all just kind of, like, in there of all these, like, moments that people that play Fortnite know, right? And it
Mhm.
becomes one of those things of like, if you know, you know. And the more that you participate and the more that you know, the more the inside jokes like make sense to you, right? I think that's a huge reason why Twitter is like, what it is, right? That like a lot of the jokes that happen there and, require this like knowledge of like previous
Mhm.
memes that also went viral, right? And so like it becomes its own little world of people that participate, that know the jokes, that know the rules, and that play along. It's a super interesting thing in terms of like marketing, like what that means,
Mhm.
right? Like, because, as we were talking about in Substack earlier, like how are you able to tap into these audiences so that like you show that right? Actually, I guess
Mhm.
everything is kind of like tying back, right? Because then that's also a reason why you need that like chief storyteller to know the cultural
Mhm.
moments that affect your industry. And the same with like the movie promos where it's like, it makes sense because it makes sense to the plot of the movie, and that's kind of like the marketing that you're like putting out there. So like the people that like, are curious go and like tap in and make, pay attention, and then like, make those purchases and become more a part of like the community, and you're all just kind of like fitting in together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, there's something to be said about deepening context over
Mhm.
time and, like, the more knowledge that we're all getting, like, there's so many layers now to
Mhm.
jokes and memes that go viral now, and, the more context that you are clearly aware of, like, the better that something is gonna hit, and,
Mhm.
I think that this is, like, one of those examples. I also think, like, from the larger marketing perspective, it's a great example of somebody who had their audience, like, really big for, like, millennial, especially, and
Mhm.
figuring out how to cross the barrier, especially as, like, younger
Mhm.
generations are starting to become more, prominent forces in the
Mhm.
market. It's so interesting, this integration of fashion and gaming and, tech products. I think that that's only going to get tighter as we go forward, and I think that it's really smart for, like, a fashion brand to, make an avatar that you can buy their outfits and, people it's, like, almost like the modern, like, American Girl doll of, like, wanting to have the same outfit as your American Girl doll.
Mhm.
Like, it's
Yeah, that makes sense.